So you decided to play Bucky, the Winter Soldier, but you're like, Rolly, I don't know how to play the Winter Soldier. Don't worry, this guide will show you how I hit Celestial with our favorite super soldier. To start the video, I'll show off the basic fundamentals of his kit and what they do, later showing the more advanced tech and his team abilities, along with tips to keep in mind while playing him. Now, let's head over to the practice range. Alright, now that we're in the practice range, let's get started. Let's go over Bucky's first ability, which is the hook, and it can charge up and shoot an enemy and displace them or move them. So Bucky's max range is 20 meters, like so. You can also move enemies and choose where you want to place them by looking in a certain direction. So if I want to hook him left, I look left, and let's wait for him to go back. And if I want to hook him right, I just look right. There's also tech where you can hook and punch almost simultaneously, and you'll push an enemy super deep. So you hook and you punch, and that brings him close to 30 meters, which can bring him to your enemy line. And once you guys focus a single person, they're gone. You don't have to worry about them, and it can low-key win your fights. His punch only has a 10-meter range, but super useful, and it can grab multiple enemies. The hook can also do that, it's just less rare. But the punch you can punch into people, and it'll just launch both of them up, like so. His orb slows enemies, and it also does quite a chunk of damage. Nothing crazy, but the best part about all three of these abilities is that they reload your weapon instantly, and they grant you armor. So if you were to pop all this, look at my health bar, it grants you 405 armor for popping all three. So usually it'll be just one, which will grant you like I think 75 or 25 armor. I don't know, but it's something super useful. And then another thing I forgot to mention is his orb can knock enemies down, especially flying ones. So if you're playing against a Spider-Man, Iron Man, it will knock them down. I think it's not super useful, as Spider-Man can just swing away, and Iron Man or Storm or Johnny, they could just fly away using their ability. So they'll knock them down for a second, stun them, and you'll be right back to just having to deal with them in the air. But the way I like to use it is I shoot them 2 times, and then it'll be like this, like 1, 2, and then the orb to finish them off. And that makes it so I don't really have to hit that third shot, which you're not guaranteed all the time, especially against a Spider-Man, which is a hard moving target. And yeah, that's basically it. One thing I forgot to go over is that the thing cannot be moved. So if you try to hook, as you can see, he doesn't move. If you try to punch, he doesn't move. If you orb, I don't even think he gets slowed. But he's so slow you probably won't even notice. With the punch, as you can see, it does damage, but he doesn't get stunned. With his hook, however, he does get stunned. So you could use that time, and your teammates can shoot at him, pop their ult. Maybe he can like just not do damage to you. It'll save your teammate. But he's not like immune to the hook, but he just can't be moved. So if he's near his teammates, he will stay near his teammates. That's just another annoying thing that I forgot to mention. So yeah. Now let's go over Bucky's ultimate and what it does. So to start, his ultimate is like an AoE that can instantly finish enemies or deal a little bit of damage, like this. As you can see, this red bar indicates like their HP, and when it gets to that threshold, they'll instantly die. So let's see if I can show it off. You go here, you shoot, and then once their health hits the red HP, it replenishes your ultimate. And these guys with the markers above their name instantly die to your ult. So shoot someone and you pop it, they'll just instantly die, which is super useful, especially when there's like a group or Adam Warlock tries to revive, they just instantly die. Another small feature is that when you hit a roof, you almost like instantly pop your ultimate again, since it goes to you rising, and the closer you go to the ground, it'll automatically pop. So one tech that was recently found, I don't know by who, is basically you just punch and then you pop your ult below their legs. That was kind of slow. It's more like this. And it instantly pops your ult. They can't avoid it unless maybe they're a Wanda or Hela, but it just makes it so that they almost instantly die, or they can't escape the amount of damage that's going to happen, which will replenish your ultimate and allow you to go for more targets. Another tech that I recently found was you could almost guarantee a kill by hooking, punching, and then just popping your ultimate, any DPS or healer will instantly die, or even a tank that's like a little more squishy. If they're already low, they'll just fall over and that'll be one less enemy to worry about. Or even if you're lucky, you can hook 2 people, punch them, and then your ultimate will save you. Alright, so for this example, we're going to use these enemies since they're stationary, not moving. But we're going to go over Bucky's combos. His first one, which is simple, is just the hook and punch, which you don't have to look anywhere. You can just punch like straight on and for damage. His second combo is you hook, turn, and then punch. So you can do it to the left and move him over here, or you can hook him to the right and push him over here. His final, or not his final, but his best one, I think, is when you 180. So you just turn around and then punch. It brings them deep into your lines, and your teammates can finish, focus, and you kill all the enemies that you bring behind. I usually try to do it on healers or DPSs. Like, let's say their DPS is just really good and I want to take them out the game. Or if their healer is just being super good healing the team, you could take them and then boom, they have one less healer, so they're basically down half. And then you could focus the rest of the team, or you could try and focus the healer again. Easy win for like the fight, and it'll just help you rank up usually. But the range is 20 meters, so you want to make sure that like you're not always at the max, but you're close to it, so you pull them as far as possible. That's like it. But for the hook and turn, one thing I found is that when you try and do it like back to back, it can be harder on controller. So an alternative is you hook and then you just take a step back. It's not as fast, but it works just the same basically. So if you're not as fast to get it, it can help if you're not quick enough. Another one of his combos is just a simple punch and ult, as we went over earlier. This instantly pops your ult, and with some, like, if they're low enough, they'll just instantly die and fall over. You can, well, that was a bad example, but you can hook punch, you don't even have to turn, and then you'll just instantly kill them. You can also use your orb too if you want, or like, here, let's see, orb, punch, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. One thing I like to do is I like to hook, shoot, and punch. So sometimes, as you see, I miss, but if you're consistent and you hit that headshot, they will almost guarantee to be dead, since all of Bucky's abilities really do a lot of damage. So you just hook, shoot, punch, and they're almost dead every time. That's another way to guarantee a kill. So it really depends on you, what you're feeling, or just the situation you're in, but those are the main things that you're going to want to be doing as a Bucky. Now let's go and show off Rocket team up with Bucky and Punisher. Oh, gotta tap it. So we're gonna choose Bucky, and he throws down infinite ammo and a boosted fire rate. This is for both Punisher and Bucky, so if you play either one, it's super useful. Rocket also has good heals. People like to complain, but I personally think that he's really good at what he does. The fire rate is significant. Let's stand right here. This is 3 shots, and then this is 3 shots, significantly faster. So it'll make tanks feel a lot squishier, DPS is a lot squishier, and even heal, just everyone more squishier. And then you can also use this, like, let's say you're trying to shoot a Spider-Man that's gliding across. You can just spam, and eventually you will hit him. So it can save you if you have worse aim, I guess, but they're really not too hard to hit unless they're movement god. So you can just do this. If you're fighting into a crowd of enemies, you could just go like this, and boom, you'll just be getting hits back to back. Healers have to constantly heal, or sometimes what happens is, let's say you go right here and you just happen to hit their healer twice in the head and they die. It'll make the enemy team just have no heals, less heals, get more picks, and then make it easier for you to win that fight. Okay, now the last thing I'm going to go over is my reticle. I mean, this isn't the one I use on console. It's close, it's good enough, but this is my sense. I usually try to have a higher sense on horizontal and a lower vertical. That's how I am on almost all my games. Advanced, I think it's all default. I was playing with no aim assist. I think that's a good habit to do in like quick match, so you don't rely on it and you just build your aim. Reticle animation you want to turn off because this circle is super annoying. It'll mess with your aim. The width, I think close to default. Yeah, it's just the, oh no, I turn it down. It's just the dot because I like it. If you don't like the dot, you don't have to have it. Everything's preference. The opacity, everything's I left with outline width. Try to make your dot have a bigger width if you're using a dot, so it stands out, and then you can like line up the head with the dot and hit more headshots. The blur, I don't, yeah, there's nothing on blur. Just turn that all down. The center gap, so this is important. The crosshair length, you want to make it stay within the circle, never go out, because then it just looks funky. It can be short like this, or the way like I like to have it's just a little bit shorter. Angle, this is also preference. I know some people like it straight, but when it's curved for me, I feel like I'm more into the into the crosshair, so I'm hitting more shots. The circle radius, I was playing where it was like I think close to 58, and then that was like, oh, if the enemy's in your radius, you can hook them. But I found myself relying on it too much, so I just try to make it smaller and aim more for the head. Yeah, I think that's about it. I use yellow. I mean, I was using blue before. I just use a color that stands out so you can see your enemy. Another thing that helps with that is go to accessibility, and when you see pink, it makes your enemy stand out, I think, a lot more, especially since the environment can be red or any of these other colors. So this is me at the end of the video. I finished taking out some of the blow editing. I'm just putting stuff back together, and I want to say, if you sat through the whole video, thank you. If you want, you can subscribe and like, that'd mean a lot. If you didn't like, drop a dislike, let me know what I could do better. If you want more Marvel Rivals content or any other game, let me know. Gladly switch. And that's it. See ya.